And again, so this is a sequence I like teaching just to find organisation of the body. It's done standing, so we've got to be aware of what the feet are doing. So I like doing my rocking feet exercises first. We're going to look for some just big trunk movement patterns, and we're going to then use a TheraBand to give us a little bit more awareness of the shoulders, and then also reinforce the trunk patterning. So my first exercise is just a single arm circle. I'm just going to soften my hips, soften my knees. I'm not too narrow. My feet are about as wide as the outside of my hips. And notice I just get a little bit shorter. I'm going to place my fingertip on my sternum and go lead of my thumb. And then I'm just going to breathe in. But I'm looking to where I want to take my hand around. I'm trying to look to where I want my hand to go. And let the hand go to that space, rather than my hand pulling me around. So that's my hand pulling me around, which can be a little bit uncomfortable on the shoulder. Try and feel this is all about what's happening with your sternum and your eyes and your head. So where you look, you can turn. Now, at the beginning of this movement pattern, you might not want to go so high with the hand because it can put a lot more extension into your back. But after a few more, you might feel like you want to just really reach up and then turn around. Again, I'm being sensitive to what my feet are telling me as I do this movement patterning. And let's go to the other side now, keeping my feet, so the big toes, little toes are staying on the floor. I can feel my knees moving, my ankles moving, and I'm getting sort of just good movement. Now the breath pattern for this is just in breath for the quarter movement on the way up, and then that longer out breath as you go around. In breath coming up, a longer out breath as we go around. One more of these. So I'm just going to go into some side bends now. Again, I'd like to do my feet swaying patterns before I do this sequence. What I'm going to do is allow my hips to shift to one side, allow my hips to shift the other side, and then I start adding some more upper body movement patterning. Now you can cross your hands over, that can feel quite nice. Okay, you might go for a movement pattern of adding opposite arms, so sort of like a windmill arm movement pattern. But I often find crossing the thumbs over, taking the arms towards the ceiling, the arms don't have to be straight, and then just reaching up to the opposite corner of the room, reaching up to the opposite corner of the room helps me sort of feel like I'm lifting and stretching through the sides of my body. Again, just breathing softly. You can find a breath pattern that works for you. And always feel to work light and soft rather than to strain. Okay, so that's my nice setup patterning. I'm now going to use my TheraBand for my shoulders. Now I'm going to use the TheraBand very light. I'm not trying to use the TheraBand to strengthen the body. I'm trying to use the TheraBand to give direction. And what I want to use the TheraBand for is to give me direction that my arms extend out to me. So rather than feeling strong, I want to lengthen. So I'm going to hold a very light open band. I'm holding between my thumbs and my first finger. I start off with my fingertips in front. You can see they're just aligned to my shoulders, not too low, not too high. And then just breathing in, I bring my arms out into one super straight singular arm, and out breath, come back through. Again, think about how your feet, think about your alignment, breathing in, stretch, and out breath. I'm just going to make that a little bit tighter, and in breath, reach. Now really feel your fingertips move away from each other, and let the armpits travel away from each other, and then out breath come through. So again, the bands to give a sense of opening, not to work. Good, I'm going to turn slightly to the diagonal. And I'm trying to make sure my arms travel into one super straight line. I'm not trying to bring the arms behind me. I'm just reaching out as far as I can. So it's arms out into one super straight line, like you play aeroplane, and through. So this is a nice feeling, especially when you're loading up through any side planks or single arm lying on your side to make sure your shoulders don't collapse. I'm going to take that behind me now, and I'm going to take it into a sort of a book opening. Now the band seems to locate the arms into the back of the body much better, So from here, I've got my feet fairly wide, the knees soft. This is the arm that's going to move. So I take the arm out to the side, and then to rotate, it's the front arm reaches forward. It reaches forward, and then the back arm can rotate a little bit more. I'm going to do that to the other side. So the arm, and then reach and through. Again, be aware of your feet, how the weight of your body is shifting. So the arm, and then rotate. I'm trying to keep my hips still. I'm going to change to the side slightly. So arm first, and then feel that rotation pattern. Good. And through. Arm first, about 90 degrees, then the other arm reaches forward. Try to keep the hips fairly still, and through. So again, book opening, I'm going to the other side, sorry. Arm, and then find that rotation. Feel like you're turning your two lungs around your heart. Again, go one more to this side. Good. And good. Okay. I'm going to come and stand on the band now. I'm just going to move my camera down a little bit so you might see a little bit more of my feet. I'm putting the band underneath my toes. I'm standing on it. I'm going to hold my band fairly tight to make sure it's even. You can wrap it around your wrists and you stand up. Again, sorry, I've lost my head. Now what I'm going to do is breathe a little bit. A couple of things going on. Firstly, I'm just using my legs, my trunk to stand up tall. I'm using my feet to feel where I'm standing. Again, the band's trying to pull me forwards, and I'm just working through that. Second thing that's going on here is every time I breathe out, maybe my shoulders soften down a little bit. Maybe my hands feel like they travel towards the floor a little bit. So what I'm doing is breathing and noticing what's going on. Noticing my feet, where my weight in my body is. I'm noticing the feet helping me to push my head to the ceiling. I'm feeling the band give me some resistance against that. And I'm just letting the band soften my shoulders. I'm now going to go into a shoulder roll. So I'm going to go up, back, down and forwards. On the in-breath, I'm up, out breath, down and round. In-breath, up, out breath, back, down and round. Now feel you're doing this from little inflatable balls underneath your armpits, maybe like a ping pong ball. So feel how you're rolling your shoulders by rolling your armpits, and the top of the shoulders, the top of the sides of the neck feels soft. Again, you're still using your legs to stand tall, because this is our shoulder roll. Okay, I'm now going to take this, I'm just standing with the band under one foot, same length, same hand holding. Again, I'm going to hold it fairly tight. You can wrap it around your hand if that feels better. So again, by just standing with the band like this, my spine, my trunk muscles have to work to give me alignment. Again, I've got to be organising my feet, feel where I am, good alignment through the body. Again, just letting the shoulders soften down. Try not to let the shoulder roll up at any time. Then as you breathe out, I'm just going to shift the hips slightly towards the band and then shift the hips to the other direction. Keep your breath fluid. So there is upper body movement, but I'm also interested in shifting my hips from side to side. So I'm beginning to get some lateral work in that glute. I'm beginning to get some stability through the side of the hip. I'm now going to think about adding a little bit more flexion in the upper body. So I've got my trunk muscles working. Make sure you don't go short on this exercise. Keep your spine open. So I've now got my lateral muscles working. You might feel it just on the sides, but you might feel it in the low back as well. Just keep yourself nice and tall. Swap over. Again, let this shoulder release. Make sure you're standing tall. Be aware of how you're using your feet, how the weight of the body is through the feet, and then just shift your hips and shift back. So I might think out breath, I might think in breath, So I'm using my side hip, my glute medius. I'm using my lateral trunk muscles. And I'm also going to be using my QLs at the back of my body, quadratus lumborums. Again, be nice and tall, let your breath inform this movement pattern. So I'm just going to try and get a little bit more side flexion. So I've got resisted and assisted side flexion patterning going on by holding the band in just one hand. Good, thanks so much for that sequence. That's a nice standing sequence with the TheraBand.